Good evening, everyone. It's a little bit after 6:15. We're ready for the 20th chapter of Exodus tonight. Because of our colds and been doing through a lot of things, we didn't do our broadcast last night on our Bible study. I'm sorry, but we're all still struggling with colds. But anyway, tonight we're going to try to work through the 20th chapter of Exodus. And by the way, this is the chapter where the Ten Commandments are brought forth. And question we have to ask ourselves is, have any of us perfectly kept the Ten Commandments? If you say yes, like the rich young Euler did, God might tell you to go take everything that you have and give it to the poor. None of us can perfectly keep the Ten Commandments. There's only one person that ever kept the Ten Commandments perfectly, and that was Jesus Christ. We're told in James that if we break one of them, we're guilty of breaking them all. And we're not under law, we're under grace today. But I'm going to have Mark read through this, and then I might make a few more comments about this. I'm glad that we're not under the law. I'm glad our keeping the law is not what's going to get us into the portals of heaven. It's the blood of Jesus Christ that's going to get us there. I'll turn this over to Mark and have him read this to you, and hope you have a good evening.
Exodus chapter 20. God spake all these three words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or is in the earth beneath, or is in the water, or is in the earth, or under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, no serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless of taking his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the seventh day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his maidservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. And all the people saw the thunders, and the lightnings, and the noise, the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said to Moses, Speak thou with us, we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die. Moses said to the people, Fear not, for God has come to prove you that his fear may be before your eyes, that you said not. The people stood afar off, and Moses drew near into the thick darkness where God was. The Lord said to Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, You have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold. Altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, thy peace offerings, thy sheep, and thy oxen, in all places where I record my name. I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. Thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered therein.
Okay, well, thank you, Mark, for doing that for us. And I wonder what went through the Israelites' mind the first time they heard the Ten Commandments. You know, they had been in Egypt and they'd been exposed to Pharaoh and all of his other gods. And I'm sure there were a lot of graven images in Egypt. And God is making this strong proclamation that they should not have any other gods or any other graven images. They shouldn't bow down to them. And we know that Pharaoh took the name of the Lord their God in vain because he hardened his heart against God, and God hardened his heart too. I'm sure the Egyptians didn't keep the Sabbath. You know, I wonder if Pharaoh made the Israelites work on the Sabbath. He probably did. Now they're commanded not to work on the Sabbath. Here we also have a proclamation that God created the earth in 6 days. Because God himself said that. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth. He also told them they would honor their father and mother. He also told them they're not to kill, not to commit adultery, not to steal. I wonder if any of them had guilty consciences over all the stuff they borrowed from the people before they left Egypt and never returned any of it. Anyway, he tells them they're not to covet, including their neighbor's house, their neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, or anything that is neighbor's. I was told a joke today. I'm going to go ahead and give you this joke. This preacher was having a pastor's convention, and they were having a big shindig, and they got all the pastors in, and they had these big lunches. They ate these big lunches, and then it came to the afternoon service, and this preacher's getting up preaching. He started preaching, and these pastors started nodding off. So he said, well, I'll get their attention. He said, and I must say that in all reality, I have spent more time in another woman's arms other than my wife. And everybody woke up. Like, what did he just say? And he said, and that was my mother. Well, one of the pastors there says, I'm going to use that. I think when they start sleeping in my congregation, I'm going to use that same joke. So he got in his church, and they started nodding off, and he said, I must say that I've spent more time in another woman's arms, more time than my wife. And they all woke up. And they said, who was it? Who was it? He said, oh, I forgot. I'm sure that got him in trouble, didn't it? Anyway, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And then we see that God demonstrated all this with thunderings and lightnings and the noise of a trumpet and so on. Well, may the good Lord be with you this evening is my prayer, and maybe you've spent more time in another woman's arms, a lot more times in another woman's arms than your wife. Hopefully it was your mother's. Have a good evening.